illegal immigration is bad for the nation. Okay? You know, I don't want to hear these people telling me how good it is. If it's good, then send them home, make it legal, and bring them back legal. That's fine. But illegal immigration is a bad thing. Now, some of you may be interested to know something about the Arizona bill. Frank, come up here. Will you help me a second? Sure. Why are we? You're all interested in this. No one else is. And you want to see the Arizona bill? What up? Wait. Oh no, that's the healthcare bill. Yeah. That's the healthcare bill. This is not the Arizona bill. That's not a bill. This is all the healthcare bill. Right, Gail? Who's printing this out for me? That's the healthcare bill. You want to see the Arizona immigration bill? That's it. Now my computer, it came out, I think it was 15 pages, you know, but the Arizona, you know, what really strikes me about this is here's a real problem. Forget about health. This is a real problem. There are real people suffering and dying. Both the immigrants themselves are being taken advantage of, and of course the American population. This is a real problem, and it can really be solved, and it's not that hard. This bill doesn't. You know, you may have read, of course, that the Attorney General doesn't like this bill. But they haven't read this bill. All right. Well, so I read the bill. All right, and it's not that complicated. And look, it's so amazing because when you read it, you know immediately it's the right thing to do. This is how they start out. The legislature here in Arizona declares that the intent of this bill is to make attrition through enforcement of the public policy. Attrition, in other words, they just want them to leave the state. You know, it's not that complicated. They're not trying to persecute anybody. They just don't want illegal immigration in their state. I don't blame them. And the very first thing it does, how many of you know, I'm sure some of you must know, what a sanctuary city is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sanctuary city is where you have a city, usually that's out in the far west, you know, where there's too much sun. And they pass city ordinances and county ordinances that say, hey, we don't want our police department actually asking people if they're illegal, and if they have to find out they're illegal, we don't want you to actually do anything about it because we want to be nice guys. We're a sanctuary city. Well, this bill says right off the bat, no sanctuary cities in Arizona. It requires all of the Arizona, not only law enforcement, but agencies to enforce the immigration laws. Now, you know, you might say, well, that sounds pretty bad. What immigration laws do you think they're trying to enforce? The federal laws. That's right. It's not, they didn't pass any new law. They're just saying, hey, let's enforce the laws that the federal government already has on the books. And so, get this is very dramatic, of course, and who would consider this? If you're actually arrested for a crime in Arizona, they check to see if you're an illegal citizen or an illegal immigrant or not. And if you are, guess what? They ship you out. Radical. Very radical. Yeah. But, even in that context, here's what it says. A law enforcement official or agency of this state or county or other subdivision may not solely consider race, color, or national origin. Get that? It specifically says that if you use race or national origin as the basis for any arrest or anything, then it's, on its face, illegal. You can't do that. So this business that somehow this is a racist bill, it goes out of its way to state the opposite. And what do you think you have to do to prove you're a legal citizen in Arizona? You know, you read some of these, show your driver's license. Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, this is a no-brainer. That happened to me on the drive home tonight. Show your driver's license. It's not that difficult. Now, it goes on to say, in Arizona, if you're getting a public benefit, so you're getting a welfare check, or food stamps, or any of the many different benefits, you have to be legal. What a concept! You know, this is not in practice, not even as far as I would go. But you know, it's pretty clear, And listen to this section. This law shall be implemented in a manner consistent with all federal laws regulating immigration, protecting the civil rights of all persons. Third time in the bill. It's only 15 pages. Third time they emphasize no racism, protection of civil rights. In every page, they make sure that people's rights are not infringed on any way. Now, it does cause a person to be in trouble if they're an illegal immigrant. And it goes on to say that if you get pulled over in a traffic stop, whatever it might be, and it turns out you can't prove you're a citizen with showing a driver's license, then there is a tremendous, tremendous fine. Do you have any idea what the fine is, anybody? $500. $500. You know, give me a break. It's not even that big a fine. Now, they do put you on a bus and send you to, I don't know, Ohio. But it's not that big a deal. I mean, I don't think, you know, I mean, I don't know, I'm not all that familiar with it, but what I read is that when you come over here from Mexico, you pay some guy $2,000 to $3,000 to get you here. So paying $500 fine once you get here because you're illegal is, you know, I don't think that's even that big a deal. But it does make a bigger deal out of smuggling. Here's what it says. It is unlawful for a person to intentionally engage in the smuggling of human beings for profit. Did anybody object to that? Smuggling human beings for profit? Of course it should be enforced and illegal. And that's what this does. And those smugglers are pretty tough because they pay a much higher fine. They pay $1,000 per person that they're smuggling around. So pretty quick, those guys are going to think maybe they should go to some other state other than Arizona. And it hits employers. And I have to tell you, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, because why is it we don't have immigration enforced? Well, we know why the Democrats don't want immigration enforced, because they want those votes. I think there's a city I just read the city in California, they're now going to actually allow the illegal immigrants to vote in the city election. And ultimately, that's what the Democrats want. The Democrats want
they need a voting
class. A new underclass vote for the Democratic Party, and maybe they'll make them all legal by, you know, in a sweeping reform, whatever they'll do. But that's what they're after. But what about the Republicans? Why don't the Republicans try to get the immigration laws enforced? And I hate to say it, but it falls at the feet of the business community. I know of people, you know of people, that allow themselves to knowingly hire illegal immigrants because it's good for business. Now listen, I'm a business guy. I'm all about low taxes and allowing business to do what it needs to do to have an economic engine in this society that helps everyone. But it is wrong for businessmen to hire illegals at low wages, take advantage of those illegals, and take advantage of the illegal immigrant situation. It's wrong, it can't be tolerated, and the Republicans have to stop it. And this bill deals with it. This bill says, you know, you don't see this around here, but you maybe have seen videos as I have of areas of the country where you go into a certain neighborhood or a certain street corner and there's guys standing around waiting for day jobs. That's what they do. And so the landscaper or whomever, the factory owner, goes to that corner, he picks up 5, 10, 20 guys, brings it back, they work for a day, they get paid cash, they're out the back door. That's the way it works. It's now illegal to have these pickup stations. It's unlawful stopping to hire and pick up passengers for work if they're illegal. Pretty simple. If you do that, the employer gets fined heavily. And not only fined, on that first offense, he's fined, he has to fire all his illegals. On his second offense, he loses all of his business licenses. Now that means he's basically out of business. That's pretty steep. And so what do you think is going to happen? They're going to stop hiring illegals. And that's exactly what they want to have happen. This bill, this simple little bill, is the answer to illegal immigration in this country. And I think we should have this bill in Ohio. I think we should have this bill in every state in the union. And, you know, I'll make a prediction. If every state in the union passes this bill, in a year, the illegal immigrant problem will be solved. Because there'll be no jobs and they'll all go back home. Now, we may need to bring them back again because there are jobs that these people do, that immigrants do, that we want them to do. But they need to be legal. And the way to make them legal is not to bring them in under some so-called overall reform. First, we make them go home, then we complete the wall, and then we bring back legal immigrants. What can we do? Well, first, we have to know and understand what we believe in. God, gold, and guns. That means tea parties like this, it means reading books, it means watching the news. We have to educate ourselves. And then we have to educate our neighbors, and we can't be afraid to speak up. It is essential that you get involved, because folks, time is over. Either we get involved and we win this battle, or we're going to be on the losing end. Thanks very much.